Hello. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to take some time to make a video to talk about how I teach and explain maybe some of the more esoteric terminology and systems that I might use. So I'll start off by setting my intention. And that is to be a part of your path and to help you along your path in any way possible, to help you find alignment with your soul and your heart, and as always, for the highest and greatest good. So, I started recording a video and realized it might be helpful for me to discuss a little bit about the systems that I use and the different lenses that I view crystals through. And I like to sort of paint a rough picture of the crystal itself and then let you come to the full picture on your own. So I really prefer to hand you more of a line drawing and all of the colors or the prism, and let you fill in the colors yourself and color it however you feel, however feels most resonant with you. And that creates a more memorable and more powerful experience. So I think rather than just listing off properties to crystals or saying this is a blanket term for what they're good for, I like to teach things about different ways that they're unique and special and interesting, and then your own personal experience will be the main factor in your information. So it's less about memorizing properties and more about building your own special relationship with the crystals. And you might think that that's not possible for you, but I promise that it is. It takes a while to get good at, just like anything else. And it takes time, practice, dedication, and just a slight tuning of the nervous system and the sort of different antennas that you have. And anyone can experience the subtle properties of crystals. Some people might experience it as a knowing. Some might feel it in the body. Some may have more out-of-body meditative experiences. some might have all of those things. So you kind of have to learn what your specific mechanisms are and work with that. So one of the main modalities I use to speak about crystals is Chinese medicine. I think it is the most beautiful system out of all of the medicine systems. It's poetic in the way that it's built and harmonious and holographic of the world itself. So I think it works beautifully with energetics. So some of the terms that I might use, things like cooling or bitter, things that you might hear in the materia medica for plants and herbs, are similar and can be attributed in just the same ways. So Chinese medicine is energetic in and of itself, with the acupuncture meridians and the spiritual meridians. So they pair beautifully together, even better than needles. Needles were made in a factory and don't really have any energetic properties of their own. But when you pair the energetics of a crystal that are specifically designed to regulate energy, to transduce, to amplify, to organize, to tone down, all the different things that crystals can do, they can add those affinities to these energetic meridians throughout the body, much in the same way that they can work with the chakra system. And it's really powerful stuff. So you might hear me talk about them and use words like heat or like cooling, like I said earlier. And that probably doesn't mean physically. It's an energetic cooling. And heat in the body is usually a result of friction of some sort. So you can think of it in those types of terms. Cold in the body might be a result of being frozen, being stuck. Fear can really freeze you. So that's how those sort of apply energetically. And another system I use to talk about crystals is, of course, science. I really love geology and even down to the minerals and the elements that are in the crystals themselves. These are really important things to learn about and to understand as part of the unit in its whole. And things like geography as well, where the crystals are from in the world and what that means. And even from, our galaxy, our solar system, our universe, the cosmic level, all the way down to the quantum level. We get into quantum mechanics and quantum physics and all that fun stuff because they play a huge part in every single level of this reality, of this earth school that we're in. So, absolutely science. Another tool I use is the Hermetic Principles. These are principles from ancient Greece, basically, and they are an incredible and important way to look at the world, and they are a great way to learn about anything, crystals especially. Probably my first class that I'm going to film and release in my shop will be how to learn about stones through each of the Hermetic Principles. And it paints almost a complete picture. It's really cool how they work together. An example of a Hermetic Principle is as above, so below. You might call it the holographic principle. And as I mentioned earlier, crystals are completely holographic of the universe itself. So it's really, really cool. One of the other big tools that I use is the law of signatures. And the law of signatures basically means that you can infer really many, if not all, of the most important attributes by the design itself. So you can look at the appearance of a plant or of a crystal and understand how it might work with the body and what its affinities are, things like that. So an example for a crystal would be an celestial crystal. It could be a smoky quartz that's celestial in style, and those typically have steps on them. And the steps are good for structure. They are good for having a job to do and having a goal. So you might use an celestial crystal or any crystal that has nice little steps on it to have a specific job for you. It might be a good protective stone, or it might be a good stone to keep by your desk to help you recenter yourself. And you can just really, really infer a lot about it by the design itself. And it seems so simplistic, but usually when you run into simplicity in nature, that means you're on the right track. So definitely that. And again, those are really the main lenses that I look through. I do work a lot with the chakra systems and the different energetic subplanes and planes and energetic bodies, the physical, the emotional, the mental, spiritual, and the yin and yang. So yin being more dense and yang being more very more action oriented. So we've got sort of male and female energies, and I could teach a whole class on that in and of itself, and I think I probably will. So there will be lots of talk about energy, and when I say those types of things, I just mean subtle realities that you can become more sensitive to. We can only see such a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the visible light spectrum, even. We have such a tiny pinhole into this reality, and some people are born with a more colander of a situation, lots more holes, and some people are just born more sensitive. Others might have to train for it a little bit, but everyone can do this. It's our birthright, and we are pretty desensitized as a population. We're pretty disconnected from ourselves, and we're pretty disconnected from the earth. And some of the most beautiful principles and things I've learned from shamanism are really about having a very respectful relationship with the earth. And that means everything. People, animals, plants, rocks. And really looking through the lens of love and compassion, and making sure that you're mindful of what you put out into the universe. So, yeah, I hope this does a little bit better of a job of setting up what some of these things mean, and setting up the way that I teach and the way that I will talk about crystals and energy and all those magical things. So let me know if there is a lens you'd like me to learn, or if there are any specific questions that could help you along your path. I'm happy to be here for anyone, and my email is available if you have any questions at all, or you can put them in the comments, and it would make me so happy and be my honor to give you any information I had about it. I've been hoarding information for decades, and it's time to share it. So even if you're sleeping, maybe something got in there. So thank you again for letting me be a little part of your path. I'm grateful for you and for this experience. Thank you. I love you. Good night.